everyone, and welcome to Economic Insights. I'm Haley Labrecque, your guide to understanding the state of the U.S. economy. Today, we'll explore four major indicators: unemployment, economic growth, inflation, and the current account balance. If you've ever wondered what these numbers mean for your daily life, you're in the right place. We'll break down the stats, explain what's behind them, and discuss how they affect you, whether you're job hunting, budgeting for groceries, or planning long-term investments. Grab a coffee or settle in wherever you are, and let's dive into the state of the economy as of December 2024. I promise to keep it informative, interesting, and maybe even fun. Let's get started. Let's begin with unemployment, one of the clearest indicators of how the economy is doing for regular people. Currently, the U.S. unemployment rate sits at 4.2%. That's a small uptick from last year's 3.8%, but it's still historically low. To put it in perspective, during the Great Recession, unemployment rate peaked at 10% in 2009. And even before the pandemic, a rate of 4% was considered excellent. So, what's driving today's numbers? The slight increase reflects a natural adjustment in the economy as businesses recalibrate post-pandemic. Jobs are abundant in growing sectors like healthcare, technology, and clean energy. But on the flip side, industries like manufacturing and retail are grappling with automation and global competition. Another trend to watch is the rise of remote work. It is reshaping where and how people work, opening up opportunities in some areas while creating challenges in others. Overall, a 4.2% unemployment rate signals a healthy job market. It's not perfect, but it shows we're in a good place. However, we must stay vigilant about addressing inequalities and preparing workers for future shifts in the economy. Now, let's talk about economic growth, measured by GDP or gross domestic product. The U.S. economy grew at an annualized rate of 3.1% in the third quarter of 2024. That's impressive. It's well above the long-term average of around 2%. What's behind the growth? First, consumer spending has been a powerhouse. People are feeling confident, shopping more, traveling, and dining out, which all contribute to economic activity. Businesses are also investing in equipment and technology, boosting productivity. Government spending has played a role too, particularly in infrastructure projects and clean energy initiatives. These investments not only create jobs but also lay the groundwork for long-term economic benefits. This 3.1 growth rate places us firmly in the expansion phase of the economic cycle. But is it sustainable? Growth at this level is healthy, but too much too fast can lead to inflationary pressures. For now, the economy is striking a good balance between expansion and stability. Next, let's discuss inflation, a topic that hits close to home for all of us. Over the past year, inflation has been 2.7%. This is slightly above the Federal Reserve's target of 2%, but it's manageable. What does 2.7% inflation mean for you? Prices are rising, but not at an alarming rate. It's in that just right zone where the economy is growing and people are spending, but money isn't losing value too quickly. The main drivers of inflation include increased demand for goods and services, as well as lingering supply chain issues in certain sectors. Energy prices, for instance, have fluctuated this year, impacting costs for transportation and utilities. The Federal Reserve keeps a close eye on inflation. If it rises too much, they might raise interest rates to cool down spending. On the other hand, if inflation dips too low, it could signal a slowing economy, prompting rate cuts to stimulate growth. For now, 2.7% inflation is a good place to be. It's a sign of a growing economy, but the Fed will likely stay ready to act if things shift. Finally, let's talk about the current account. which measures the flow of goods, services, and investments between the U.S. and other countries. Right now, the U.S. is running a current account deficit of about $310.9 billion, which widened by 13% last quarter. Why does this matter? A deficit means we're importing more than we're exporting. On one hand, this reflects strong domestic demand. Americans are buying goods from around the world. On the other hand, it can signal an over-reliance on foreign goods and capital. In the short term, a deficit isn't necessarily bad. It can indicate a healthy appetite for investment and consumption. But if deficits persist, they can lead to long-term risk, like increased debt or reduced competitiveness for American industries. Balancing imports and exports is always tricky in a global economy. Policies that encourage domestic production while maintaining open trade can help strike a better balance. So, what does all this mean? The U.S. economy is in a strong position overall. Unemployment is low, growth is solid, inflation is moderate, and while the current account shows a deficit, it reflects a dynamic economy. Of course, there are challenges ahead. We need to prepare workers for changing industries, ensure growth benefits everyone, and address long-term risks like trade imbalances. Thanks for tuning in to Economic Insights. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe, share it with your friends, and leave a review. I'd love to hear your thoughts or answer your questions in the next episode. See you next time.